A lot of the older generation talk about retiring overseas in Southeast Asia where the climate is good and the cost of living is low. But is that a possibility in China? Let's talk about it. 大家好，我是 Surat 在中国. Hey everyone, it's Surat in China. How y'all doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm having a great day. It is the middle of the Chinese New Year break for me, so I am in the middle of 11 days off work this year with pay. It is fantastic and I am really enjoying it. So I'm decided to catch up on some of the comments and questions that I've gotten from my great subscribers and make some videos to answer those questions. Now, I noticed that in my last few videos I've been getting 40, 50, even 60,000 views, but I've only got 10,000 subscribers. Do a guy a favor, before you run away, show your support for the channel, hit that subscribe button below and throw me a thumbs up. It's absolutely free and goes a long way to helping the YouTube algorithm to find my videos and share them with more people. And it's going to help me to reach my new goal of 100,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, everyone. 谢谢你. I know that you can help me and I'm looking forward to it moving forward. But for now, let's get to a question that I've been asked quite a few times in the past about retiring, and specifically retiring in China. Now, when it comes to retiring in Southeast Asia, this is a fantastic opportunity that a lot of people, especially in Europe, really look forward to because the weather is generally very good, especially if they come from a colder climate. The cost of living is typically very low, and a lot of countries, Thailand in particular, offer what are called retirement visas, where they actually encourage people to come spend the rest of their days in their country. Now, in China, do they have retirement visas? Not really, but can you retire in China? Well, let's find out. Now, I made a video the other day about the new Chinese AI called DeepSeek, which is a fantastic AI, though it was recently attacked by hackers. They weren't attacking it in order to steal the code. It's open source. Anybody can use or alter the code any way they see fit. This was more of an attempt to slow down the system, to create chaos within the servers in order to make the product look worse. They will get that under control, but for the moment it's a little bit slow. So let's take a look at another AI and let's see what Kimmy has to say about retiring in China. Now I'm going to ask Kimmy. By the way, Kimmy is another absolutely free AI protocol that you can use. You just go to kimmy.moonshot.cn. You register with your phone number or email address. It's completely free and it works very, very well. So let's ask Kimmy. How can a Canadian, I'll ask about Canadians since I'm a Canadian, retire in China? Okay, question mark, and let's see what Kimmy has to say. Okay. All right, so it is going to give us some information here. Okay. So we have the visa requirements, application process, some financial considerations, cost of living. It's important. Banking and taxes, healthcare, practical tips, and that's it. So let's go through each of these categories together and I'll kind of expand upon them a little bit. So retiring in China as a Canadian involves several steps and considerations. Here's a comprehensive guide. Well, thank you, Kimmy. Visa and residency requirements. Visa options. Now, there is the X2 visa, which I didn't mention in my last video because it's very uncommon, and it's typically called the retirement visa, but it's more of just a long-term residence permit. This is a common visa for retirees, allowing for a longer stay. It may require proof of financial means and health insurance. So in other words, They want to see your banking information either from your home country or within China if you have accounts there. And they want to ensure that you have some manner of health insurance if you're coming to retire so that you don't become a burden on the Chinese system. If you've got health insurance and you've got the finances to support yourself, this should be a relatively easy visa to get. The F-class business visa is another option, but only for people that have made significant investment within China. You own a company in China, you've invested in a company in China, or you have a large sum of money in accounts in China, then you could possibly do an F visa. However, keep in mind for retirees, this might not be the best choice because this is a visa that would have to be renewed every 1 to 2 years. So it could get a little bit annoying, especially as you get further on in your golden years. The most common visa would be the family visa. Once again, if you have a Chinese citizen, family member, or family member with a Chinese residence permit, this visa might be an option. The downside of this visa for younger people is you're not allowed to work on this visa. However, if you're coming to retire, this could be the best choice as you can typically get this visa for a period of 1 to 10 years. It's relatively inexpensive, though you would have to again show financial proof either on your part or the part of the Chinese citizen or resident who is sponsoring you. But beyond that, a yearly health check is all you're going to need. And then permanent residency, which I've discussed in a past video, which is probably the most complicated of all of the processes, as it does require you to actually be living in China for a period of 5 years at the last time I checked, and have a substantial amount of money in your bank account that can be held for a year to determine whether you fit the necessary requirements or not. So if you are wealthy and you've been living in China for a long time, this could be a good choice. But probably the easiest one is the family visa. Unless, of course, you're coming as a couple and you don't have any family here, then the X2 visa might be the way to go. So as far as the application process, gather the necessary documents, including passport, proof of financial means, health certificates, and any other required documentation. Typically, you won't need things like security checks or police checks because you're not coming as a teacher or a short-term employee. So it primarily be your health insurance, your health check to see what kind of shape you're in, and the proof that you can support yourself while you're in China. China doesn't have a welfare system in the same way they do back in Canada and America, so it would be important for you to make sure that you have the financial means to live indefinitely in China. You would submit your application to the nearest Chinese embassy or consulate, wait for processing, which can vary in duration. Obviously, depending on the type of visa, the political climate between your country and China at that time can add time to this process, etc. So it's not something that will happen typically in a week. So be prepared to wait. In the case of permanent residency, it could take years. Now, financial considerations. Income sources. Pension and Social Security. If you have a Canadian pension or Social Security benefits, these can continue to be received while living in China. China does have a tax treaty with Canada, so therefore you can receive your pension through a Chinese bank. This is no problem, right? Investments. Consider income generating investments to supplement your retirement income. Wouldn't that be nice? In other words, rent your properties back in Canada to earn income, invest in small business in Canada to create some type of income. But this is the same that would go for anybody that just wanted to create some extra income. For retirees, maybe if you have a home back in Canada, you might want to rent it out as opposed to selling it outright and then create a monthly income from that, though that comes with its own considerations and possible annoyances. Part-time work. Now this is new. I've not heard of this. Part-time work. Some retirees find part-time jobs, but this can complicate tax matters. So seek professional advice. Once again, this will also be very dependent on the type of visa you have. I'm not sure about the X2 visa. I know very, very little about it, but I know for a fact on the family visa, the easiest one to get, you're not allowed to work. So even a part-time job would not be acceptable. I'm pretty sure that you can't work on a business visa. And as far as permanent residence, yes, you could, but again, it's going to take a long time and a lot of money to get that visa. Can you hear the fireworks outside? They've been going all week and they're going to continue for quite some time more. Cost of living. Now this is good. Modest lifestyle, 1,000 to 1,500 Canadian dollars per month in smaller cities or rural areas. Comfortable lifestyle, 2,000 to 3,000 per month, and luxurious lifestyle, 3,500 per month in major cities like Beijing or Shanghai. Now, I guess this is very, very subjective depending on what you consider to be luxurious, comfortable, or modest. I'm personally very happy to lead a modest lifestyle as long as I've got a reliable computer, a good internet connection, access to the local grocery stores here, which are incredibly cheap. I could honestly live very comfortably in China on 1,000 Canadian dollars a month, no problem. Especially as a retiree, not going out and leading an active and exciting lifestyle, which I don't do now anyway. But if you do like to go out more, like to eat in fancy restaurants, eat Western food, and go to travel more, then you'll want more money. But honestly, 1,000 to 1,500 for me would be enough. Banking and taxes. Opening a bank account in China is relatively straightforward, and that's absolutely true. All you really require is your passport, visa, and proof of residence. That's no problem at all. China has a progressive tax system, but foreign-sourced income may be exempt from Chinese taxes. So if you're earning income from your properties or your investments in Canada, you may not have to pay any taxes on them. Wouldn't that be nice, though? I suspect you'd still have to pay the Canadian taxes. You're not getting off that easy. Now, China has tax treaties with many countries to avoid double taxation, so research the specifics for Canada. And yes, you don't want to be double taxed, so talk to your tax experts every year just to make sure that you're not paying too much. When it comes to healthcare, public healthcare, China offers public healthcare programs for foreign residents, but quality can vary. Private insurance. It is recommended to purchase private health insurance for better coverage and access to higher quality medical care. Again, this is subjective. In 20 years, I've only ever used the public healthcare system in China and never had a problem with it. I know friends that have had surgeries, that have had major treatments through the public healthcare system and never had any issues, whereas I have friends who have used the incredibly expensive private healthcare system and gotten private health insurance, and they paid a lot of money for it. So once again, this is going to be subjective. It really depends on the level of healthcare that you are needing or that you are worried about in the future. Now, practical tips. Language and culture. Learning some basic Mandarin can make daily life easier. I've said this in so many of my videos, and I've said this to so many of my friends and associates here in China. If you plan on living in China, learn Chinese. You don't have to be fluent. You don't even have to be moderately fluent. If you are able to go to the store by yourself, purchase anything you need, make small talk, tell the taxi driver where you want to go, get directions from the local people. Everything else is not necessary. You will be able to get people that will help you translate everywhere you go. That's not a problem. But from a comfort level, I know from so many years, from decades in China, that the people that lasted here the longest, the people that became lifers, like me, are the ones who could speak Chinese. Otherwise, people tend to start feeling isolated. They feel like they can't go out. They feel like they're trapped, that they can't go out and lead a normal life simply because either A, they find learning Chinese too difficult, or B, which is much more common, they're bloody lazy and just don't put in any effort. It is a difficult language, but it's not that bad. The grammar compared to English is piece of cake. It's just a matter of learning the few simple words and the tones. Trust me, put some effort in. It's going to make your retirement in China so much more comfortable. It's going to be easier to make friends. You're really, truly going to enjoy the process. Legal and tax advice. Consult with a legal or tax professional familiar with both Canadian and Chinese laws regarding retirement. Now, if you are coming to officially retire, especially if you are getting that X2 visa, I would highly recommend doing this anyway. If you are coming as a family member, or your wife is Chinese, your husband is Chinese, they're going to be able to help you out with a lot of that when you're here. But if you are just coming to retire without the family connections, please speak to a professional first. It's really going to simplify the process, and it's going to make sure that you cross all your T's and dot all your I's and make your retirement in China that much more pleasant of an experience. When it comes to the cost of living, the wonderful people, the access to amazing food, healthcare, and entertainment, I would 100% fully recommend retiring in China, and in fact, I plan on doing so myself. But be prepared. This is a nice generic list, but I think it's generally pretty accurate. So there you go. Retiring in China can be a rewarding experience, but requires careful planning and preparation. Make sure you research and understand all the requirements and options available to you. Now that was actually pretty good. Kimmy did a good job. She provided a lot of very, very good information. But once again, it's always important to be prepared. I would talk to a tax consultant, a financial consultant, and a visa consultant first, just to make sure that everything was in order. So there you go. Do you have a question about China? Is there something that you would like to know, you'd like to get more information about? By all means, let me know. Hit me up in the comments below, ask your question. I do try to get to as many of my comments as possible, and sometimes I get hundreds and hundreds of comments, but I go out of my way to try to get to all of them. And if you have a specific question, if I can't answer it very quickly and easily in the comments, I'm happy to make a video to answer your questions as well. All you've got to do is ask. Anyway, I think I'm going to go prepare myself some delicious, delicious dinner here. It's just gotten dark. People are lighting off the fireworks. Fireworks happen every single night of the holiday. Sometimes it's like you're living in a war zone because they're just blowing off all over your house all night long, but that's part of the fun. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, everyone. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button or you're going to miss some great videos coming up, and we will see you in the next video.